Welcome to the party. It's your boy Malintent. We're back today to talk about the Inquisitor Ascendancy for the Path of Exile 3.13 Ritual League adjustments. So the Inquisitor has been reworked. Now they added in two new mechanics to the Ascendancy. The two mechanics that they added into the Ascendancy are the Fanaticism and Battle Mage. And then they did a new notable, which is the Instruments of Zeal. They did some reworks on some of the older ones, as you can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go over some of the changes that they made, or the changes that they made. Okay, so one of the things that they did was they added in the mechanic called Fanaticism. Okay, so Fanaticism grants 75% more cast speed, 75% reduced mana cost, and 75% increased area of effect. Battle Mage mechanic, you gain added spell damage equal to the damage of your main hand weapon. So that gives individuals like that will give the Battle Mage gives you the ability to have, let's just say, what's what I call it? I can't think of it. Gives you a little bit more. Okay, so under Instruments of Virtue is where Battle Mage pops up. So anything in your main hand, your main weapon, is going to give you more spell damage. So I don't know exactly how much. It just says that it gain added spell damage equal to the damage of your main hand weapon. So I think it's 100%. It's even straight across. So let's go ahead and break down some of the things that they did. Okay, so under Instruments of Virtue, which was the first one that I wanted to talk about, they added in Battle Mage right here on the thing. They added in Battle Mage. They no longer grants spell and attack damage or spell and attack damage and attack speed if you've cast or attacked. Because it used to be like if you've attacked recently or if you've cast spell recently, you get these bonuses. You don't get that anymore. Right now, you get 10% more attack damage for each non-instant spell you've cast in the past 8 seconds, up to 30%. So you can get 30% more increased attack damage just by casting a spell. So this is kind of one of those ones where I'm just trying to figure out exactly how, let's just finish working through this before I actually start breaking down what I think I should do. I would want to do with this. So Righteous Providence, what they did is no longer grants critical chance and multi-base elemental ailment statuses. No longer grants increased effect on non-damaging ailments. Okay, so Righteous Providence, now what it does is 1% increased critical strike chance per point of strength or intelligence, whichever one's lower, plus 50% strength and intelligence. Now, I don't know exactly how I feel about that one. Because it says whichever one's lower. And so, most of the characters you run in, it depends. If I'm int starved, well, when you're casting, you're going to have to try to keep them about even. That's the thing. You keep them about even, you're going to do pretty good for a crit chance. Is my thought process. Sanctuary, where is that one at? Right over here. Sanctuary. Okay, so with Sanctuary, they got rid of the mana regen. Doesn't give you mana regen when you're on consecrated ground. So while you're stationary, you get consecrated ground. consecrated ground you create has 50% increased chance to increase damage taken to enemies. So they get 50%, you know, the same thing. They take damage. It went up from 10 to 15%. So that's actually a bit of a difference. Last but not least is the Pious Path. They modified Pious Path. And no longer grants attack and cast speed per 200 energy shield while on consecrated ground, and 200 energy shield when on consecrated ground. So you don't get energy shield back. That used to be a pretty cool thing, I thought. So what they did was life regen to also recover energy shield as for you and your allies. Consecrated ground does that. Consecrated grounds you creates an immunity to elemental ailments you and your allies. So as long as you have consecrated ground, you're going to get elemental immunity. Effects of consecrated ground you create linger for 4 seconds. So you're going to get 4 more seconds of consecrated ground on the ground. So that's actually okay. So the rest of them have not been changed, okay? So Augur, wherever that is, didn't get changed. And that was it. That's Inevitable Judgment didn't get changed. So those all stay the same. So let me go ahead and break down what I like or dislike about this changes. The changes actually look like they're going to be pretty good. What I think would be a very interesting thing is if you could actually get it to do one of the Cyclone builds. So some builds look like they're going to be hurt from this, but if you for me, I believe like a two-handed Cyclone build with a cast on crit and a spell or a triggered spell might actually work out, because with Battle Mage you gain the spell damage equal to the damage of your main-handed weapon. So you're using a two-handed weapon. If you do a really good physical damage, on average you do 400 or 500 points of damage from that weapon. 400 or 500 is the max DPS from that weapon. So that it's going to give a pretty good boost to your spell. So spells, you have to make sure that you're not using an instant spell, which is where I have questions. Because a lot of spells, let's just go ahead and look at that's not the one. POE spells. So when you get spells and you go in and looking at spells, looking at the ones that have cast times. So you want things that have cast times and are spells. I thought I had said, yeah, okay. So Cold Snap has a small cast time. So that might actually be a really good one. Another one that could be is something like if your cast on crit fireball might work. Frostbolts, that's it right there. Cast on crit frostbolts, 0.75 to cast. So with 0.75 to cast, that means it's not instant. It's not an instant. So, and does cast on crit? Hold up. Does cast on crit make it an instant spell? I don't think so. I think it might do. Cast on critical strike support. The eternal cooldown, how fast spells can be triggered. Okay, so that's not a problem. Gives you trigger order. Cooldown time. So it just says when it can be triggered. Doesn't necessarily mean it says it's gonna. It makes it into an instant. So it might work, and that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if it will work. Okay, so with the way that it actually is configured, in my opinion, this is what I was thinking. You can do you can do cast on crit Frostbolt Ice Nova type build. That might actually work out. So trigger socketed spell on the weapon, and cast on crit on the cyclone, and you probably could have a pretty nice damage Inquisitor. So Instruments of Virtue would be a selection I would do there. I would also do Righteous Providence, so you can get that increased critical strike chance. And maybe Instruments of Zeal. If you've attacked in the past second, lose all your fanatic charges, reaching the maximum fanatic charges. Yeah, that would actually. So Instruments of Zeal would actually work out. So those three right there are going to be a must for that type of, in my opinion, that type of build. Can't guarantee it's going to be a very great build, but it bears the thought. It bears the thought. You might want it, you might not. But it just bears thinking. Let's go over the Hierophant. All right, so the Hierophant, they've reworked the Hierophant, and when they did with the Hierophant, they reworked a couple of the powers, or a bunch of the powers. Really, they reworked. Well, not really a bunch. They kind of just screwed around with the whole entire thing. Kind of messes with some things. Okay, so Conviction of Power. That is the first thing I want to look at. That Conviction of Power no longer grants charge generation, damage reduction, or elemental penetration based on charges. So they got rid of all that. All they did was, hey, you get charges automatically. You get 4 minimum charges. So you're going to have 4 minimum charges off the bat. It gives +1 power charge and maximum power charge and maximum endurance charges automatically. So you're going to have, no matter what, 4 endurance, 4 power charges. Now that doesn't seem like that big of a deal to some people, but I think that comes in real handy. Because it's guaranteed. They reworked the Pursuit of Faith, which is right here. Okay, so what they no longer grants increased damage per enemy killed recently or attacked and cast speed while you have a totem. Kind of screwed you there. But what they did was, they gave you 100% increased totem duration. So your totems are automatically going to be double the time. +1 maximum number of summoned totems. So you're going to be able to have an extra totem like you normally do. And your totem speed placement is quicker. That is what they did. They did for that one. Okay? So, is that good? Is that bad? So, totems to me, placement and time and duration of a totem didn't matter to me, because when I threw my totems out, they might go down, but I was casting totems on a regular basis, fast, boom, 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 just constantly casting them when I was moving around. So them lasting a longer period of time, that's great if you're actually casting the totem and you're doing damage as well. But if you're a straight totem guy, totem is the only thing that's supposed to be out there. I cast my totems, and then maybe I cast a curse and another totem, totem, running around like a crazy chicken, throwing totems out. That's how I played it. So the duration really. Okay, so Ritual of Awakening. They've changed that one. So that would be this one right here. So that one, what they did, no longer grants total placement speed or the ability to summon an extra totem per cast. That is a big screw you. They kind of think, and just in my opinion, they think since you can place totems much faster, you don't need to put they don't need to give you the ability to cast 2 totems, because you can right click twice. There you go. It went out faster than it did before. So that's what I think their mindset was. Don't think it's going to work real well. I'd have to test it to find out, and I don't know if I'm going to test it out. Not this league. So Ritual Awakening now grants 5% more damage per summoned totem. It used to be 3, now it's 5. So those are the main changes on there. They switched. Oh, these two. Where is it? This one, I think it is, right? No? What did they switch? They switched that one. Yes, this one and that one. Okay, so before you used to be able to gain Arcane Surge only at the higher level one, which I understand why they did it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, so who cares? But what I used to have run into problems with was I used to always be like, okay, well, I got to get this. I got to get this at the end. I got to get this at the end. And it would just be like, oh my God, if I could just keep Arcane Surge up or Arcane up, it would give me this, So by switching it, you'll automatically get it, and then you'll automatically get this, which is immunity to ailments is the main thing. That's the only reason I was going down that route, is to get that. So they kind of screwed you, but they didn't. They made it so, guess what? You're going to have it automatically. So as soon as you get that next one, you're automatically immune. That's what it comes out to me. Arcane Blessings, they did make a change. 50% increased effect of Arcane Surge on you. So you remember the Arcane Surge comes in at a very low level. This 50% increase will actually make it a little bit better. And that's it. Oh, so that's also another thing. The immunity is now on Illuminated Devotion, not on Arcane Blessing, and so they kind of switched where it was. So it's not that big of a deal. So, my thoughts on the Hierophant. Yeah, you screwed us if you're a totem guy. But I believe what they did also was give us a little bit easier way an easier way to be able to survive in some aspects. Because if you have 4 minimum power charges, 4 minimum endurance charges, cast on damage taken, a mortal call, now will always pop with 4. You get 1 more endurance charge, just 1 from anywhere else. And you now have a 5 endurance charge configuration. So Immortal Call with 5 endurance charges gives you 75 or 80% damage reduction, I believe. So if you're going to run the Hierophant, automatically run that one, and then throw cast on damage taken plus an Immortal Call, and you're going to have a pretty nice damage reduction instantly, automatically. And since it's minimum endurance charges, it eats up and replaces really quickly. That's actually pretty good. So that's what I would say for there. The Arcane Blessing and the Illuminated Devotion, I can't say that they're a must-have. I would love to say that they're a must-have, but it's a good to have. That way you don't have to worry about putting immunity elements on anything else in your gear. You can use that for mostly straight damage or straight, other defenses, health wise. In other words, things like that, and you can do pretty good that way. Now, just thinking, I don't like brands the way that they work right now. But if I was running and I was going to be doing a brand build, I would go up to conviction of power first, Arcane Blessings. Conviction of power first, Sign of Purpose second. Sorry, that's incorrect. What in the heck am I thinking? I would do conviction of power first. I would do Arcane Blessing, then Illuminated Devotion. The Sign of Purpose really looks like it's useless. It's been useless to me. Last league I thought it was useless. Let me just verify that hadn't changed. Let me verify that hasn't changed. Over here. No. Okay, so it hadn't changed. It's still the same thing. Okay. I wanted to make sure because I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, that did suck. Okay, so I would, like I said, I would run Conviction of Power, get that cast on damage taken, and Immortal Call configuration put together as soon as you get 38. Then run the Arcane Blessing. And I would do that because Arcane Blessing, you get the 50% increased effect of Arcane Blessing. You gain Arcane Surge, or I'm sorry, 50% increase for Arcane Surge. You get the Arcane Surge when you hit an enemy with your spells. So automatically, those two are gonna, boost you so you can actually move forward. Last but not least, I go ahead and grab that Illuminated Devotion. Because if you get Illuminated, by the time you get Illuminated Devotion, you're going to be able to run through most stuff. The brands have 100% more activation frequency from that you can wait till they get that last. Because you can get all the damage increase for your brands and stuff like that in your tree. That's just my thought processes. So from the Templar, the two things that stand out to me that are going to be very good Templar builds. I don't know if I would start with them or anything like that because I don't know exactly how they would function. Well, not that they function. I don't know how good the damage will be. But the two ones that I'd run, brands, that's how the damage that's going to be. Brands for Hierophant and Inquisitor, I would go with a Cyclone build. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you in your quest for ultimate power. Okay, I'm done with that one.